What's up, guys? This is Adi from Thilos International, and this video is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to with some of the scouting reports or the deep dives as you come to know them, because this video is actually not for Olympiacos fans. This video is to talk about a one Babis Kostoulas, the record signing, record sale from Olympiacos to Brighton, our friends over at Brighton, for a recorded 35 million plus add-ons and what has now been reported in Greece, additional add-ons plus a 20% resale. So this video is going to be for our friends over at Brighton that have asked a lot of questions about what they can expect from Babis Kostoulas, what they can expect from what is one of their most expensive signings in their history. So we're going to talk a lot about Babis and what they're expecting to get. So for starters, Brighton fans, you're getting an 18-year-old kid. He just turned 18 about 2 weeks ago. So everything that we're talking about, he did while he was still 17 years of age. Right-footed, can play attacking mid, can play winger, can play striker, can play a false nine. You name it, Babis Kostoulas can do it in the front line. He's 185 centimeters. For those of you that are not on the metrics, if you're in the United States, 6'1", weighs about 75 kilogram or 165 pounds. And ever since he was linked with Brighton, the questions have flooded in about what can be expected from this player, his profile, what is it that he can do. So we're going to start with, like we do on the scouting reports, we're going to start with his profile and what it is that he can do on the front line. He came up in Olympiacos' academy as a number 9. But Mendilibar used him as an attacking mid and on both wings. He even played him at the 9 a couple of times. Great ball control, solid presence, and he's willing to take anyone on, no matter their size, no matter their age. He doesn't care. Fearless in that respect. He's decently agile for his size as well, with a handful of tricks up his sleeve. But before we talk more about Babis, we have to speak about the system that he was playing in under Jose Luis Mendilibar. Now, before we start talking about the tactics and we start talking about what it is that Babis can do under different situations, for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, don't forget to hit that like button. Every hit, every engagement helps us continue to find more red and white fans. If you like the content that you follow here, whether you're a Brighton fan, whether you're tuning in from outside of Greece, consider subscribing and following us for the latest and greatest when it comes to Olympiacos. And then you can also support us on our Patreon. Patreon, we give lots of extra stuff. We do lots of great interviews. We do some different types of analyses. Plus, we have the WhatsApp group, which is always a treat. So you can check that out on patreon.com/Thilos7 International. Now, let's get back to Babis Kostoulas. As we mentioned before, that quick little shout out to like and subscribe. Babis, his performances and what he can offer has to be put into context with the type of system that he plays right now under Jose Luis Mendilibar. As we mentioned to you guys before, the system is pretty unique. It's a little bit different. And we're going to explain that so that you have a better insight of what it is Babis is good at and what it is that he could actually offer to Brighton. So let's get started, and we're going to talk a little bit about the system that's used at Olympiacos by Jose Luis Mendilibar. For those of you that are unfamiliar, Jose Luis Mendilibar's Olympiacos prides itself on direct football. It's a press-first system, press to win, as we like to call it. Most of our opportunities are going to come off of mistakes that are made by our opponents because of our press, of course, and our counter press as well. And before we talk about how Babis performs under these conditions, you need to understand the individual roles of everybody in this system. Now, we're just going to cover what is going on in the front line. So ignore the names that you see here because I'm just going to be talking about the positions as a whole. This is a template that we've used in the past to explain Mendilibar's tactics to our own fans. So the system relies on a press that is spearheaded by the number 9. In this case, you see the number 9 up there. That's Ayoub El Kaabi. he spearheads the press. He's running usually at the center backs on a reset, forcing them to play the ball either out to the wing or to the supporting center back or even to the goalkeeper. So the presser, the number 9 in this case, is the first one that is making the challenge on the ball. Then the player that's behind him, in this case, you can see right here the second red dot, which is right behind him, which is the number 19 here. That's the number 10 that we're referring to. Whoever's playing in that role, they're not actually playing as a real attacking mid, how you and I might consider one. What they are doing is in the press supporting the number 9 in whoever he's pressuring. So if the number 9 is pressuring the center back and the ball gets played to the goalkeeper or the other center back, then the attacking mid is supposed to apply the pressure out there in support of the number 9. The goal is if the ball is not played to the goalkeeper or the center back, where the attacking mid is going to support, that the ball then gets played out wide to one of the fullbacks. Because when the ball gets then played out wide, one of the two wingers who are the furthest to the end lines that you can see in the chart there, they are the ones that are then supporting in the press against the fullbacks with the sole purpose of forcing the ball to the central midfield area. Now you can see right here, the central midfielders I'm referring to are the number 32 and the number 4 in this case. These are the individuals that are in charge of what we like to call the press trap. So there is a concerted effort by the team to make sure the ball is played either out wide or in support to then be played out wide and then forced central so that our center midfielders can pick everything up and it can start in a counter, which is where we create so many of our opportunities. Now, in this scheme, Babis Kostoulas has played everywhere. He has played at the 9. He has played in the 10. He's played on both wings. And he has done an amazing job, an exceptional job at challenging the ball. So quite literally, when you're talking about the press, there is no part of the offense for Olympiacos that Babis Kostoulas has not played in. And that's really the most important part that Brighton fans can take here. Wherever you put this guy on the field, he's going to give you 100%. He's going to run at players. He's not going to stop. On the pressing end, you're getting from him, and you're getting that from him as a teenager. Now, offensively, it's, as I mentioned before, very direct. Olympiacos offense has a very low number of average passes per possession. I mean, in Europa League, it's under 3. In Greece, it's under 4. We're talking 3.4, 3.5, depending on the competition. Very low number average of passes per possession. The emphasis is to get the ball forward quickly in order to take advantage of 1v1 situations or to get in a very quick opportunity for an odd man rush on goal. In a restart situation, you're going to see the wingers, who are the wide players there. They're going to look to get forward and exploit space. Same as our striker position, the goal is to try to get forward as quickly as possible, while the center mids and the attacking mid, they play a role in support, but are mainly tasked with kind of making sure that if the ball gets turned over, they're there to try and win it back to prevent a counter. So they're very important for what we call the counter press here. Now, Babis, again, has played in every aspect of these offensive roles here. What we usually saw, though, was a player that was more likely to come back to try and show himself for the ball, maybe not stretch the field quite as much, even though he could do that. And he did do that. But this is what we saw, and this is what we saw in terms of what he liked to do on the field. Now, as time wore on, his positioning got better. He was not afraid to make runs inside on the defenders. He wasn't afraid to get physical with those defenders. So in a way, what we kind of saw as he developed from the first matches he saw the field was really him adjusting fully from U19 ball, from playing in Greece's second division for Olympiacos' B team here and there, and adjusting to full first team football. So as time wore on, we saw him positionally get better and better with respect to what we have seen in Mendilibar's system for Olympiacos. Now, looking at his data, in Greece, Olympiacos keeps hold of the ball a lot more. So I've included here a radar chart, which most of you probably have seen. If you haven't seen it yet, this chart is comparing all of the attacking mids and wingers that have played at least 1,000 minutes in Greece, a nice sample size, to Babis Kostoulas and where he kind of ranks. That little white circle in the middle is the median. That's the 50th percentile. So we see a lot more activity from him in the final third when a team has more possession. And this is going to be important because I will also show you a chart in the Europa League where some things may look a little different. But when Olympiacos is in Greece and you see more of the ball, you see Babis Kostoulas is going to have a very nice amount of activity in the final third. You can see that here in his shot creating actions, his overall XG/XA, his for expected goals, expected assists, of course, level of shots, goals, things like that. It's remarkable for a teenager, especially in Greece, to have some of this. So, and the thing I want to preface here, guys, is you have a 17-year-old, or who was a 17-year-old at the time that this was all done, and he was one of the most efficient per 90 characters in the forward line in Greece. It is remarkable. Now, I get it. Some of you are probably thinking, look, it's Greece. This isn't close to Premier League quality. So why don't we take a step up and we'll have a look at what he did in the Europa League. So this chart is now comparing him and looking at similar stats per 90 compared to the Europa League. And in the Europa League, for context, Olympiacos ranked 23rd out of 36 teams when it came to possession. So whereas in Greece, they were, I believe, second after AEK in terms of overall possession, now they're 23rd in overall possession out of 36 teams. But yet we're still seeing for Babis Kostoulas above average in a lot of these shot creation metrics, key passes, even assists per 90. You see that he's well above the average at 17 years old, playing for a side that's not on the ball as much and sees fewer opportunities in the final third. This is impressive volume. Not to mention, you look up at the top of that radar chart there, and you see a kid that is in the above the 90th percentile, almost the 100th percentile when it comes to dual wins, both defensive duels and aerial duels. He had great success. And this is amongst all of the attacking mids and wingers that played at least 250 minutes in the Europa League. That's over 220 players, 223 to be exact. Insane that a 17-year-old kid stacked up like this against grown men in the Europa League, which is not a joke of a competition. Babis Kostoulas came up in the Olympiacos Academy as a number 9, showing tremendous talent, finishing ability, amongst the best academies in the world in the UEFA Youth League, where he led Olympiacos to a historic title win. First for Olympiacos and a Greek Cup in European competition. Then under Mendilibar, he was played in areas that were not his natural position, but yet he still maintained effectiveness in so many of these attributes. At 17 years old, guys, he was not playing in his natural position, and he is doing this at 17 years old. The kid has limitless potential. He's not afraid to take risks. He has the heart of a lion. Excellent ball skills. Can play hold up, pass and move, deeper counterattacks he's effective in. He's as versatile as he is aggressive. And he's the exact type of player any coach would want. And that's exactly why Brighton was willing to spend a historic amount, one of the most expensive fees they've ever paid for Babis Kostoulas. As an Olympiacos fan, talking to Brighton fans, all I can say is, guys, Brighton, take care of our boy. He's special. He's one of a kind. And we will sure as hell take him back if you guys fuck this up. Give the channel a like and subscribe if you guys liked what you heard. I hope I was able to give you a little bit better insight about Babis Kostoulas, about the teenage phenomenon, one of the best players to ever be produced out of Olympiacos' academy. If you guys have any more questions, you can always reach out to us on the Theros 7 International socials. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. You can also comment here on YouTube. Love to talk to you guys. If you want any more insight, we can give it to you. This kid is special, and he has the work ethic to back it up. He's humble. You don't see him out and about in social media or in the press doing nonsense. He's not a diva. He just works hard, and he gives you everything on the pitch. We wish nothing but the best for Babis. We hope that you guys got a better understanding of what Babis could offer Brighton, and we're going to wish him the best. I hope I'm going to be picking him on my FPL team for sure next year, whether he plays or not. So best of luck to Babis. I'm Adi. This is Theater 7 International by the fans for the fans, and we'll see you guys next time.